Hey guys! So basically, the start of 2021 was pretty rough for me. I started the year by ending a 3-year on and off relationship, and then I attempted to take my own life. The reason I put quotes around that is because I truthfully did not attempt to take my own life. I was not trying to die. I had actually told myself I don't want to die, but I want to feel it. I want to feel like I'm going to. So I hurt myself very badly. I wanted to do more of an in-depth story on the day that got me sent to the hospital, to the mental hospital I was at for about a week, because that day a lot happened. As many people know, I have a heart condition, and I was struggling with my job and stuff. I no longer work where I did because my heart just continuously began to fail me and it was getting harder for me to work there, so I had to stop working. Well, while I still worked there, there was just a day on the 5th of January 2021, I woke up and something was off. Just immediately, nothing happened the day before or anything. I just woke up and was suicidal. But I just continued on like it was a normal day. I went to work, but while I was at work, my anxiety and the suicidal thoughts and tendencies sort of started picking up more and more. I worked in the department where the razors were kept, so I had easy access to a lot of those. Looking back, that was a dangerous move. So I basically was having a lot of panic attacks that morning and had decided that I was going to relapse with my self-harm. I decided while at work that I needed to hurt myself. So I got some razors, and it wasn't like normal armpit shaving razors that we buy that are all plastic coated. We do sell just straight up safety razors in like boxes of 5. So I got a pack of those. I went into the bathroom. Trigger warning for what I am about to say. But basically, I went into the bathroom, I sat down, I pulled down my pants, I looked at the scars from my past, and I started going over them, and then I started making more scars, and I covered my thighs. I went around my tattoos. I started covering myself while in the bathroom at work. I then pulled up my pants, wrapped up the blade I had used in toilet paper and threw it away, because I had like 4 others in that box, and then, continued working and stuff. But I kept having panic attacks. The self-harm did not solve my problem. It never solves anything. It just was a temporary release. So basically, I tried to continue working, but did end up having to leave early that day. And on the way home from work, I had left at like 6:30. I worked from 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. So I had left work at 6:30 that morning. So that just shows, in just a span of 2.5 hours, I've fully lost it. And on the way home, it was very thick fog. Like, it was dense. People were going like 20 miles an hour on the highway. Like, you could barely see the lights on other cars, let alone the cars themselves. So I had it in my head, okay, this fog's gonna make it easy. I'm going to flip my car. Like, I got it in my head. I was dead set, I'm going to flip my car. Like, I was going through trying to figure out, okay, what's the best way I can do this to make it look like an accident? How can I do this without to make sure that I don't hit another car? Because I didn't want to be responsible if I end up surviving, but my car went into another car and they didn't. Like, I thought out, okay, if I survive, how can I make sure I don't get in trouble, essentially? Like, that was my thing. Like, if I survive, how am I going to convince people that this was an accident and stuff with the fog? And just as I was getting ready to torque my wheel, the fog ended. I had driven out of it and stuff, because, I'm still driving while I'm thinking this. The fog had ended. I had driven clean out of it. So I sat there and I told myself, okay, this is what's going to happen. If we drive into the fog again that thick for long enough, we'll do it. We'll just full send, we'll do it. I'll do it. I ended up not driving into fog again. However, when I got home, none of my feelings had gone away. I was having panic attacks every 5 seconds. I was stressed. I still did not want to be alive. But I didn't tell my granddad this. My granddad knew I came home. I had told him that my heart was causing me problems and that I had to leave work because of my heart condition. When I left work, by the way, I didn't tell any managers. Like, I had a panic attack a couple times at work, and a manager had, like, told me, to take it easy, and if I needed to go home. So I just clocked out and left. I didn't tell anybody. I didn't find a team lead, a manager. I didn't find anybody. I just clocked out and left. But I had texted my granddad, so he knew I was coming home. About 5 minutes after I get home, my granddad leaves because he had to go to our dog's vet to pick up, like, their flea pills, that we give them, so that way they don't get fleas or heartworms or anything like that. So he left to get those, and I was home alone with the box of razors that I had purchased from work earlier that morning. Everything I'm telling you happened within a span of under 5 hours, by the way. So he's gone and stuff, and I'm home alone. I shut myself in the bathroom, and I'm on the bathroom floor. I am hysterical. I am crying. I am sweating. I stripped down to my underwear because of how much I was sweating. Like, I was not okay. I was just sitting on the bathroom floor crying, and I was just, like, rationalizing, okay, like, trying to rationalize with myself, like, convince myself I was okay and that I didn't need to do this. I was fighting it, but at the same time, I wanted to give in. So I had made a compromise with myself. You know what? We're not going to kill ourselves. But I do need to hurt myself. I had convinced myself that I needed to self-harm in order to avoid killing myself. So I took the razors. I added more to my thighs. I went not just down I have tattoos on my arms, okay, including this arm. It's a small one, but it's still, like, along my wrist. The reason for my tattoos on my wrist are because, hiding previous scars and preventing future me from doing anything. And it did work because I didn't, like, start slashing through. I wanted to avoid my tattoos. I'm like, no, I don't want to hurt my tattoos. I spent a lot of money on these. So I go around. You can still see some of the scarring and stuff from this episode. I went through down here. I went around the outside of my arm. I ignored this arm mostly. Like, I did a little bit through there, but for the most part I avoided it because I have tattoos wrapping around this arm. And I went on my thighs, my abdomen. I was covering my whole body anywhere I could. I filled up my thighs and I was going down my shins. It was not a pretty sight. I had eventually snapped out of it and I had stopped hurting myself. In this moment, I had a thought. Call 911 or call Grandpa. I wasn't in danger. I was not going to die, and I knew I was not going to die. So I called my granddad, and I told him, hey, I lied about why I wanted to come home. You need to get home. I'm not okay. I didn't give him any details. I just said, you need to get home. I can't be alone. I'm not okay. Get here now. And he got home within an hour, which I don't know how he did that because he was almost 2 hours away. But he got home within an hour. I feel like he could tell because I was crying when I was on the phone. I was hysterical. I'm surprised he could understand anything. But he got home within an hour, and, I'm listening. Like, I hear him come in. I stayed on my bathroom floor. Like, I did not move from my bathroom floor the entire time. But I can hear when he entered the house, I can hear him pour his drink because he has this thermos, like a tumbler, that he fills up and stuff. I could hear him refill that, and then I hear him come upstairs, and he starts talking to me through the bathroom door, like, what's going on, kiddo, hey, talk to me. And I wasn't talking. I was just mumbling. I remember just sitting there, like, gripping what little hair I have and just saying, I need help, I need help, just repeating the words, I need help. Finally, he opens the door. My bathroom's kind of small, so where I was laying was pretty much directly in front of the door. So he couldn't open it all the way. But he opened it enough he could get his head in. And when he got his head in, the scene he saw, I don't think he's ever going to erase that from his memory. Because I remember the second he got his head in, I hear my full legal name. Like, I hear my full legal name. Nobody even calls me by my full first name. Like, I just go by Fel. I hear every syllable of my entire first, middle, last name. And, you know, he, like, forces his way into the bathroom and stuff. Like, he sort of pushes me with the door. And I'm just like, I need help. Mind you, I'm in my underwear covered in blood. That's the scene he's seeing. He's seeing his grandchild on the bathroom floor in her underwear covered in blood, still holding the razor that she had used. I had snapped it in half. At some point when I was using it, I had snapped it in half because, you know, safety razors, there's a blade on either side. Like, it's sharp on two sides. So I snapped it in half so I could double hand. And he got, like, a washcloth and, like, got some water, and he starts, like, trying to clean me up and stuff, and I'm still just repeating the words, I need help, I need help. Like, I was hysterical, but I remember it. I remember the tears. I remember I was sweating, and at some point I couldn't tell if it was sweat anymore or if it was just the feeling of blood all over me. But I definitely was not okay in that moment. But I was already starting to calm down. I could feel like my heart rate was slowing down. Like, I could feel myself calming down from this. So he cleans me up and he gets me to my feet. And he's like, okay, come on, let's get you some clothes on and I'm gonna take you to the ER. So he walks me from my bathroom into my bedroom, which is just like a little 10-foot walk. Gets me into there, and, you know, I pick up a pair of dirty sweatpants off my floor. I remember saying the words, I want comfy clothes, I want sweatpants. So I picked up dirty sweatpants that I'd slept in for like a week straight off my floor, and I put those on. I just grabbed some random t-shirt and a hoodie. Then we grabbed my wallet and my phone because we knew in case I needed my ID or anything, and my phone was just so I'd have something to mess with while waiting in the hospital, because we all know hospital waiting rooms are shit. So we get in the car and it's just sort of dead quiet. It is silent the entire 30-minute drive from our house. Well, it wasn't 30 minutes, like 25-minute drive from our house to the emergency room, because, like, he had examined me. My granddad, he worked in the medical field when he was in the military. He owned clinics, both psychiatrist clinics and, like, actual medical health clinics. So, like, he's dealt with this before. That's why he kept his calm through it. I don't know how, but he stayed calm through this. And I don't know how he did it. But we get to the hospital, we get me to the emergency room, and they get me seen, they clean me up and stuff, they put ointment on my scars, and then for a few hours I'm just sitting on a gurney in front of the nurse's station. I didn't get a room, not one of the rooms that's walls and a door, not a room made of curtains. I straight up was on a gurney in front of the nurse's station, and that is where I sat for 8 hours. I sat there for 8 hours wrapped up in a blanket, wearing paper clothes, because they took my clothes and put them in a plastic bag, and they gave me paper clothes, not scrubs. Like, I was wearing a napkin essentially. And grippy socks. I was wearing a napkin and grippy socks. And for 8 hours, that's just what I did, sitting there in front of the nurse's station until the ambulance came to take me to the mental hospital, where I stayed for a week got back on my meds and got stable and am now okay. So yeah, that was a very hard day. That all took place, minus the 8-hour wait in the emergency room. That was only within 5 hours. That entire story took place. I acted fast on my thoughts, and I'm just thankful for my granddad for keeping cool and staying strong, because if he hadn't been so strong, I don't know if I would have made it through the hospital the way I did. Yeah, so that's my story on what happened to me at the beginning of 2021. I hope you guys enjoy this, and let me know if you want more stories, because trust me, I have plenty. Maybe I'll do a story on what happened in the mental hospital. I know people love hearing about what happened in it. So, yeah.